Advocating for Equality Through Technology. I came across this article in Education Week following a search for access in education, and it focuses on the digital divide that happens in today's schools. This article sums up technology access for students in an inner city school in Los Angeles, Crenshaw High School. And the students there surveyed the available technology in their school and compared it to those of surrounding suburban districts, where they realized that not only do they come up short, but that they are also behind on learning basic computer technology like PowerPoint and Excel. Many of the school's computers don't work anymore. They're not in the process of getting replaced either. The injustice is that even the students are recognizing that it is different at other schools and that this is not the norm. Kids are being denied proper education and it will hold them back in life. These are programs needed for many basic office jobs and college courses that these students are not getting. Educare Preschool aims to close academic gaps. I found this doing a search on Google, and it appealed to me because I currently have a child who is in the daycare system, and it shows the importance of learning from birth to age 5. The focus of this article is based around Educare's 17 preschools. This one mainly focuses on the one in District of Columbia, and its aim at focusing on children's starting from birth to close the education gap. Focusing on impoverished areas around cities, Educare preschools take children from birth to 5, where one teacher stays with them from birth to 3, then a second teacher takes over from 3 to 5. This program gets its support through public and private donors, as well as has mandatory volunteer efforts from parents and teaches these parents how to focus their home lives on expanding their child's mind and teaching them how to parent as well. With this program, success has been seen and determined in students who have graduated and transitioned into schools from this program. The kids that have transitioned are at or above school level, so it's a program that's really working. Unfortunately, this program does not see a possibility. It does see a possibility of getting shut down from a decrease of public funding. This is a new type of social welfare program which works, and it does break the cycle of poor children and achievement gaps. Not only is it closing the achievement gap, but it is also focusing on teaching parents how to help their child into a better future. I'm curious to see what happens in the future with this program. This is a tactic that apparently works. Leaders are stepping out of the norm, and they're going against the if you can't afford a good daycare, then you don't get a good daycare, and providing equal access to early childhood education for many children who would otherwise not have an opportunity like this. Culturally responsive teaching for 21st century art education. I came across this article. I teach art education, and I get art education monthly. It's a monthly subscription magazine that I get in the mail, and there was a whole issue that was devoted to race and culture in art education. This article shows how to handle situations of race and culture within a class setting. Because of our diverse classrooms in America, many teachers often don't feel comfortable when the subject of race comes up in the classroom. With limited amount of colored or culturally diverse teachers, this situation, it's even more ignored instead of using situations of race and culture as a learning tool. Teachers often stereotype their students, whether they want to or not, and treat their students based on these stereotypes. As teachers in the 21st century, we need to know how to break these stereotypes and teach our students as students and not based on the color of their skin. As an art teacher, this article stuck out to me because it considers using the art classroom to confront these stereotypes, to talk about them, and then to challenge the ideas that students come up with. In many classes, this can't be done, but because of the constructivist nature in an art classroom, feelings and confusion can be responded to and talked about through making and sharing of art. In this case, the students did a 3-week examination on racial readings in the news, shared dialogue about their feelings and experiences, then proceeded to focus on making art that expressed their feelings and understanding of race and cultural experiences. And this is one of the examples of student artwork that one of the students came up with. Confronting race issues in a school is a tough process, but it also can be done. And students need to understand that we do live in a diverse world that is going to become even more diverse as they enter into an adult workforce. Teaching students that race is not something to avoid, but it's very much a part of everyone's life, is very important in today's classrooms. Different cultures confront leadership differently, and they will also respond differently. It's important to know how to respond to all of our students instead of just some of our students, and to be cross-culturally aware. I found the article, The College Dropout Boom, in the New York Times, and it focuses on entering college here in America, higher education. Before reading this article, I was under the impression that more people than ever are heading to college straight out of high school because of the ease of getting loans and scholarships and even getting accepted. This article proved my thinking wrong, that more than ever, colleges are facing high dropout rates. Many Americans, they're not finding it easy to transition into college from high school, and those who are in community college only face a 17% chance of heading for a four-year degree at a university. Many colleges are focusing on programs and ways to keep current students, as well as appeal to those who may financially be avoiding the costs of college. Before, colleges would focus on admitting students of different races in an effort to change diversity and receive funding. However, this is no longer the case. Universities are now focusing on accepting students from lower classes, and it's seen as a way of breaking the cycle from students hearing from parents who have no college experience that college is not important. If parents see the importance of higher education and receiving a bachelor's degree, then they will encourage their own children to do the same. Focusing on higher education and admitting the lower class still leaves out middle-class families who cannot afford to pay a monthly tuition for their child to attend. For students who are poor, attending college is something they can achieve, but without home support, many will not finish, where middle-class students have the home support but not the money unless they take out multiple student loans and go into debt. So fiscal equity is not something that's found among America's higher education. At least it's not something that I've seen from this article. And it's something that I believe can be changed as well. School closures hit homeless students hard is an article I came across in my daily emails from Education Week a while back, and it appealed to me because I used to live in New York City and have worked with homeless students in the past. The New York Times wrote this article when 20 schools closed due to low achievement records. The schools were located in poor neighborhoods where many students were in transition living. They were living with extended families in hotels or shelters. In New York City, there's been a 50% increase in homelessness between 2007 and 2009, and closing of these schools sent many of these students' lives in chaos. Their home life was already in an uproar, and then to have the one place they considered home be closed added to the hardships of their life. These students were not able to go to the school next door, but they had to be transferred to schools with available seats, often not in their neighborhoods. Many students were lost in the transition and even dropped out. The effects were devastating for these kids. The articles mentioned that a service needs to track homeless children so they don't get lost in the system if this does happen again. They need to be set up with a familiar face who can handle the transitions and not leave them out for their own devices. In New York City, they're currently looking at a system that Minneapolis uses to track students who move between districts who are homeless. Although these were low-performing schools, they were still a home base for many students, and students like this would benefit better in an environment that is small with students who face the same challenges, not forced out and placed in overcrowded situations where students who are in different class systems. We first need to make sure that these students' basic needs are being met before any learning can take place. I'm worried students' needs will be overshadowed if they're placed in schools or situations that homelessness or transient lifestyles are not common and people don't know how to deal with them. When modern leaders see injustice, they propose change instead of ignorance. Public schools need to be equitable. They need to get rid of barriers like gender, race, and class. They need to provide access and achievement for all, give students opportunities, and challenge inappropriate attitudes, actions, and thoughts.